Today's Monday, April 29th, and the stock market is literally in the afternoon session. So there's about 3.5 hours remaining before today's market closes. But this is a trade review on a position I just took a little while ago involving the Spider S&P 500 ETF. The ticker symbol is SPY. And as of the time of this recording, the SPY is quoted at $509.89. And since trading started this morning, the ETF is up approximately $1.64. So this is the 7-day 10,000 tick chart, which means each candlestick represents 10,000 trades, consisting of both the buy side and sell side. This is the current candlestick right here. So from the 7-day look back, you can see that the SPY hit a low of $495 back on April 22nd, and a 7-day high of $510, which was hit earlier this morning. And since then, what I've done is I've marked up reasonable support and resistance levels via these blue horizontal lines. And this line right here is just a visual markup as to where I took a short position. I shorted both common shares of the ETF. Only a small position. I shorted 5 shares, small position. And right here, I did also short via option contracts, specifically contracts that will be expiring this Wednesday, May 1st. And relative to the spot price, I selected the $499 strike price. And as a buyer of option contracts and bearish, I'm on the put side. When I entered the option trade, the SPY was quoted at $509.96. So relative to the current spot price, trade hasn't really been doing anything. It's still going sideways. There's this consolidation phase right here. But recently, going back to the end of last week, price did find support here at the $498 support and resistance level. And then price just bounced off it, ultimately retesting a high of that $510. So using this green candlestick right here from April 25th, I use that as an anchor point. And this was the consolidation phase that I was referring to, where price was just, or is still literally going sideways. But going back to the April 25th candlestick, I use that as an anchor point for this Fibonacci fan. And at the onset, this solid blue line was acting as another layer of support and resistance, but almost at a vertical slope. So I was really not considering this at all. But however, I was more using the dotted line because that seems to be a more valid resistance level. As price was almost going vertical, it was stuck between or ranging between the dotted blue line, which is very faint, like right there, and the solid yellow line. And right now, as price is still going sideways, it's literally on the verge of retesting this support level. So one, price could break to the upside, meaning price will continue respecting the yellow support level, but also price has to contend with this local support resistance level. So even if price does run up, I don't think it's going to break through this resistance level. I think price may eventually start fading back to the downside and potentially retesting 504. So that was the general thesis or bias for my bearish outlook on the S&P 500 heading into tomorrow, and especially what might occur during the overnight session in the S&P 500 futures market, which is currently trading and will start trading later tonight at 6 p.m. But in any case, regarding this ETF, if I open up Active Trader, again, I only shorted 5 shares of this ETF. My entry price is at 509.70 or 509.71, and the P&L is reflecting a loss of $2.25. Again, this is a very small position. And if I scroll up, my stop order is sitting here at $511.70, capping my loss to under $10. Again, the primary trade is really the option trade, which I'll get into in a little bit. But that's the gist of this position regarding the ETF common shares. Regarding the option trade, switching over to the trade tab, so right down here are the details. So again, what I mentioned earlier involves the May 1st expiration with the $499 strike price. And I picked up 5 contracts, and actually all 5 contracts will be expiring worthless in 2 days, which is at the close of this Wednesday's trading session. My entry price has the option premium quoted at 21 cents per option contract. Unfortunately, the trade is slightly going against me as the premium has dropped to less than 18 cents per contract, and the P&L is reflecting a loss on the option trade of an additional $17.50 on top of the $2.20 common shares. So real quickly on the valuation of these option contracts. So the option entry is quoted at 21 cents. Now, each option contract is equal to holding 100 shares on the underlying security. That's what this 100 is pertaining to. That's in the description of this option contract. So the multiplier is 100. So that means each option contract is actually valued at $21. I picked up 5 contracts, not including commission. I'm risking an additional $105 in the option trade over the next 2 days. So that is the current status for both positions, the ETF common shares, as well as the option contracts. So for the purpose of time, I will pause it here, and I will do periodic updates accordingly, and I will most likely do an update if or when price breaks below this yellow support level, provided it does that. So until the next status check, more to follow. Today is April 30th, and it's an end of day review on the SPY short. So we can see here that price was rejected and consolidation ended yesterday afternoon. And then heading into the market close, the SPY tried to break back to the upside, but eventually started rolling over once again. And so much so that price fell below the support level of $505, consolidating here in the afternoon session today. And then heading into the close as well, that's when price started falling. And then at the close, it was a lot of volatility as there was a quick spike and then a drop heading into or after the market closed. So with all things said, opening up active trader, the 5 shares short is up $40, which is fine. But the most important trade is that switching over to the trade tab, the option position with the 5 contracts, it's now up $382. So between the 5 shares, common shares short, and the option contracts, the position's up $422. The option premium is now, or was last quoted at $98 per contract. The contracts have yet to be designated ITM or in the money, as we are literally $2 away from the spot price reaching my $499 strike price. So with 1 day remaining, again, these contracts go worthless at tomorrow's close. So I will be closing this position out at some point. Hopefully the trend will continue to the downside. And just to take a quick peek on the S&P 500 futures, right here, this is the ticker for the minis /MES. The S&P 500 futures is 5,059 and a quarter. And since the futures market started trading about 3 hours ago, it's currently down 7 handles. So hopefully we'll see a further pullback in during the overnight session, and then picking up the pullback even further by tomorrow morning's 9:30 stock market open. So I will pause it again and pick it up at some point in tomorrow's trading session. Hopefully, be able to capture or record the closing of this position out. So until that final status check, I'll end it here for now. Today's Wednesday, May 1st, and the stock market's been trading for a little over 45 minutes now. But as of the time of this recording, the S&P 500 ETF is quoted at $500.52. And right now, price is in process of potentially retesting this next support level. But this is an open order to close out my option trade sitting right here, which is about a $600 take profit. So if I switch over to the trade tab, right now the option contracts, it's valued at $1.30 per contract, or $130 per contract. And the P&L is reflecting a positive balance of $550 in the option trade. So the strike price is literally 54 cents away from being at the money. But right now, because there's only about 5.5 hours before these contracts expire at the close of today's trading session, I don't want to drag this trade out too long. So I went ahead and placed my stop order. So what I'll do is I'll switch over to the option chart specific to my trade. So this is the option chart specific to my trade. Right here by the ticker, it says SPY, May 1st expiration, $499 strike price. It's on the put side. So here's that open order to close out the option trade. So if I open up Active Trader, it's sitting right here at $1.42, which equates to a little over $600 take profit net. So again, I was risking $100. If I'm able to close this out at 600, then this is a 1-to-6 risk to reward. I risked 100 to make 600. And this trade was entered Monday. So it was around down here when I entered this trade. So if I scroll down, my entry price is right here, which is identified by the two yellow arrowheads next around the 21 cent mark, which is effectively the zero line on the P&L scale. And if I scroll down, this was that $100 or so risk. If the option contracts had gone to zero, my max loss was $107. So right now, hopefully the trend could come up just a little bit more to close me out at $1.42. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pause it here, and I'll be back in hopefully a few hours or a few minutes, and this trade is over. So I'm back at the option chart. The stock chart for this ETF. So I'm about to get closed out. If it could just creep down just a little bit more. It's so close to getting filled. But anyway, that's the current status of this trade. I'll go ahead and pause it here, and I'll pick it up. Let me see if I can switch back to the option chart. Okay, it's been a few minutes. I'm getting impatient. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close this out at $500. I'm going to cancel that $600, see if I can close this out at $507. This way it's a 1-to-5 risk to reward. So I'm going to place my order. Oops, it's only for one contract. What I'm going to do is update this to have me close it out at 123. Again, because there isn't that much time remaining, I don't want to hold on to this position much longer than necessary. So I'll take the 1-to-5 if I can, still get it out at 507. But anyway, I'll pause it again and let's see where this goes. Okay, it's been a few minutes. So the ask is at $1.19. right here. So if it could just creep up just a little bit more, it should close me out at 123. We're at 122. If it could just come down just a little bit more. There, I'm out of the trade. I got sold out at $1.23 for a net profit of $500. What I'll do is I'll switch over to the stock chart again. So back to the stock chart. This is the current candlestick here. If I switch over to the trade tab, I am out of the option trade. The option trade is flat. So this was a good trade. It was a quick 2.5 day trade, considering I got into the position Monday and I closed it out hours before expiration went to zero. So that's the status of this overall trade. I still have those 5 shares. I'm going to hold on to them for a little bit longer. I'll probably walk it down to the 504.96 support level. And if I do get closed at that point, that's fine with me. So that's just an additional profit to that. So until the next setup, I'll provide a breakdown on the option trade. So until the next setup, I'll end it here and I'll